So what is up, guys? My name, of course, is Carlo. Welcome yet to another video. And we have Simon Phillips in the house. How you doing, Simon?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
I'm not too bad, not too bad. It's great to see you.
Thank you for having me.
No problem, no problem. So we're going to be talking about your new movie, which I've actually seen twice. And I think it's fantastic. It's you want to tell the guys what it's called?
It's called The Nights Before Christmas, and it's out now on DVD and iTunes and Amazon and everywhere possible.
It's an absolutely fantastic movie. So congratulations on the film. It's your performance in it is absolutely terrifying. You obviously you wrote this and you produced it. Is that correct?
Well, that's a bit of a lie. No, I came up with the original idea for it, sort of. So and I think even my idea is probably a bit stolen about like a crazy Santa Claus. There's been a few movies about a crazy Santa Claus, but I came up with the idea of the story with Paul Tanter, who's the director. Me and Paul worked together a lot, I came up with the idea for the original thing. And yes, I produced it, but I'm one of 6 producers. I always feel bad, when they go, "Well, Simon, you acted and produced it," like I did all the work, Yeah. And unfortunately, I didn't do all the work. I did most of the work. No, that's not fair. No, Jesus God. Now someone will be annoyed at me if I said I did most of the work as well.
How did it all come about? I mean,
well, I'm a big fan of one of my very good friends is an actor called Zach Galligan, who you may know because he's the lead guy in Gremlins movies.
Yeah, I spoke to Zach before. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a wonderful actor, wonderful human being. Just want to tell him. But what captured me about that was Gremlins is actually one of my favorite movies, and it's one of my favorite movies because it's kind of, in my mind, it's the first Christmas horror that I ever saw. If you think about it, now it's made very PG horror. It's sort of a kids horror, if you like. They straddle that line really well in that. It's kind of scary, but it's still for kids. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I've always been a fan of sort of subverting a genre. Sort of whether it's I've had real love affinities with horror comedies or something. When it's done well, sort of you can add things into different genres and they're really nice. Whenever I play a bad guy in something straight, I always try and add a different, like make him a bit funny or make him a bit, sort of just add it another dimension, and then everything feels more 3-dimensional. And with this, it's a ridiculous, crazy idea, but what you've got to do if you're me is take it seriously, and then people will see, they go, oh yeah, it's not just, it's a crazy, ridiculous story, obviously, but we have fun with it, and I think that's the main thing.
I sort of, like I said, I've seen it twice. I absolutely love the movie, and I sort of see it being a sort of cross between Bad Santa and Hatchet.
Great,
sort of mixing them together. Your makeup in the movie is absolutely extraordinary, and your performance is off the chain. Whoever has not seen this movie yet, please. Actually, I'm going to drop the trailer just before we continue speaking with Simon. So here's the trailer. Yeah, let's show them the trailer.
What are you doing here?
Courtney, come home.
What?
Just for Christmas.
Dad, he's still out there.
They were violent, they were crude, and they were dangerous.
There's my Mrs. Claus. Have you been a good girl?
I've been a little bit naughty.
Me too.
He bided his time.
Shit!
He made his plan. He killed 30 people. He burnt down that whole asylum.
Don't let her get inside your head.
What's my name?
What if it's an actual list?
Shit! Say it! Say it! What's my name?
Santa, is that you?
Excuse me.
So your performance is off the chain. You scared the living bejesus out of me. How did you prepare for that role? I mean, did you have any inspiration behind it? I mean, what was your preparation for the role?
So to be honest, a lot of it was was the creating the characters. So if you were making a monster, this is the rules I had for it with Paul, the director and co-writer and producer, was that I never wanted to see this guy do anything like human. So he doesn't eat, he doesn't sleep, he doesn't, he doesn't do anything normal. Obviously he probably does, but I was like, I don't ever want to see that. He doesn't drive a car, he doesn't use a telephone. It's anything that makes him like us, the rest of us, is a problem for me. So I was like, let's have him do all those things. And then one of the big things, which I'm sure every guy will be crazy at me for, is I was like, with Mrs. Claus as well, I was like, I don't want to, there was like originally like some make out scenes and stuff like that in it. And I was like, yeah, we have to lose those. And he was like, guy was like, really? And I was like, well, yeah, because it makes him, he's not really in love with her and she's not really in love with him. They're crazy, sort of, they're just, they think they're married, like sort of, then they're not, and they think they're in love and they're not at all. But it doesn't matter to them, sort of, it's a thing. So I was like, so if any of those things are replaced with, yeah, she's just going to give me a little peck on the cheek, but it's not, I don't want to see him, because if he loves something, like if he really loves someone, then it makes him human again. So the rules are always, he can't do anything human. And then when you get it like that, it gets easier to believe him as more. And as you say, the makeup team that put it together did very well with my stuff, which took absolutely forever every day.
What was about? I mean, was that? I bet that was long in the chair, wasn't it? But you spent hours in that chair, especially with them teeth.
Yeah, well, the teeth were popping, so that was all right. I didn't mind the teeth because I got it. It was like a fitted, like I went to a dentist and got a brace thing, and then it was made for me, sort of, for my teeth. Yeah, I'll tell you the problem with that was, and when I put the thing in there, I had two sets of like top and bottom teeth that you have to put in, and the guy was like, "Practice," and I was like, and he goes, "Practice what?" I was like, "Practice talking," and I was like, "Yeah, oh yeah, I will," and obviously I didn't. So when I got this set and I put it in, it would give you a kind of a lisp. So I'm trying to sound threatening a lot of the time, but which is not very, it's not very easy when you're like, "Merry Christmas, everybody," and they're like, and the director's like, "You're gonna have to, again, sort of, all right, I'm really trying, but these things are on my mind, it's sort of, and he's like, you didn't practice, did you?" And I was like, I did not. No.
Well, your performance was breathtaking. We did a movie because I'm, as you know, I'm a director myself.
Yeah.
We did a movie a little while ago called Twinkle Twinkle, and we released it on Amazon Prime, and that was like a slasher flick. And I know how important the slasher genre are to the fans out there. So it must have felt a huge sense of responsibility to deliver, which you did 100%, to be a part of that genre. I mean, how was the pressure on that?
I mean, like, as you know, the horror community, like, just as you said there, you're absolutely right. The horror community are great, but they're very harsh, but if you do something right, they go all the way with you. They support you all the way.
Yeah.
You do something wrong and they're going to take to the internet and tell people.
Yeah.
So it's, when you're doing a normal action movie, and I use that in a real sort of like there's just a regular serial killer, it's easier to get it right, but then it's easy to be a bit boring and a bit sort of less impressive. You're like, well, yeah. But when you do something like this with sort of Christmas, you've really got to get that bit of it right. And if you get that bit of it right, I think everything else is okay.
So how would you know? How would you know? How would you know that you've actually got it right? Because, like I just said, the amount of pressure to play this character, who I am hoping will turn out to be an iconic classic, a killer in the long run, like your Jasons, like your Freddys, like your Victor Crawleys. He deserves to be there.
Thank you.
No, he absolutely does, and I mean that. He absolutely does deserve to be there. The pressure with the community on you. Did you have to do research into the character? Did you sort of pull sort of little bits of inspiration off of any other characters?
Yeah, I mean, I'd done a movie a long time ago with Robert Englund, who's Freddy Krueger, and stuff like that. So I all of those guys. There's Michael Myers, the Freddy Kruegers, the sort of monsters that like kind of I grew up with because I'm an '80s baby.
Yes, likewise.
You know, sort of those are the things you draw little bits of information from. And as I said, I developed the rules, as it were, the rules for making it. But and that's I think if you I worked it out for myself, but Mrs. Claus sort of followed suit. So when I have a lot of scenes with her and so on and so forth, and I kind of explained to her, I was like, this is our reality is something different. And this movie, every now and then we flashed back to us before we were Mr. and Mrs. Claus. So we were sort of, we had previous scenes. And I was like, you must keep that intact. Because it's very, as soon as I take the makeup off and the suit off, it's very tempting to act normal. But you mustn't. You have to be crazy. The suit and the teeth and the face and everything, the eye, it all has to be just on top. But you have to be crazy from inside first, unfortunately. So it's not a thing that makes you crazy. It's you're already crazy and something brings it out. Sort of. That's my.
I remember Kane Hodder when he did Victor Crawley. He was adamant about the cast not seeing him in makeup until he was on set. It got more difficult as the films went on, because obviously they know what he looks like, the continuations. But he was absolutely adamant that the cast did not see him until the cameras were rolling. I mean, did you take on that same sort of persona?
No, not really. But I think that's a good idea. That would be a great idea if you could do that. However, what I did notice is I used to have to be in early in the chair, before everyone even got there, sort of. So I was always first there anyway. And what happens is once I have the suit on and once I have the face on and the eye and everything, there's very little visual effects done here. This is all done properly and this stuff, and put the teeth in and everything. People kind of do treat you a bit differently. Like I would be okay with going up to someone and going, "Hey, are we doing scene first, and then we're going on to," and people would be I could tell people were kind of like, sort of, going, "Yeah, and they'd be like, they treat you a little differently. They wouldn't be asking, "So what did you have for lunch?" So they wouldn't do any normal questions. So the makeup and everything really helps, because people are already distant with you. And I don't, rather than them not seeing me till I did the scenes in it, they'd see me in it all the time, because I'd have to be ready first, because it would be, I'd be the longest in the chair. So actually they didn't see regular old Simon a lot. I was always, whenever I was there, I was the monster. So I wasn't there a lot, sort of, a lot of the movie is other people doing all the heavy lifting and the story and the acting and stuff, and then I turn up and kill people. I've got a very fun bit with Mrs. Claus. I turn up right at the end of every scene. So I've got they do a lot of hard work before I even get there.
There's a lot of kills in this film, which is going to excite the whole community. We are a morbid bunch of people. We do like the good old kills. The ideas were phenomenal. For the kills, really clever. I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to spoil it for anyone. But
we can spoil it for a few people. Don't worry.
With a bit with the delight, the Christmas light around the neck, that the hanging. I thought was absolutely exceptional. Fantastic the way he was pulling him across the floor. I was horrified, but I was laughing at the same time. Was that the
That
right
guy-
thing to do? You know, I was like mixed emotions, like looking at that scene.
No, it was a good one. Paul Tanter is responsible for coming up for a lot of the variety in the kills, you know, sort of. So, you know, I have an axe, so it's very tempting to just stab people with the axe or, you know, cut their heads off, which I do a few times anyway. But you have to come up with different ways to kill people, I think, you know, because this guy, he enjoys it, right? You know, sort of, he's brutal, but he enjoys it. So he enjoys variety and how to do things. So, yeah, but Paul invented the scenarios of how we could do it. So
it's great stuff. I mean, you know, when people watch films of this genre, films like this, you know, they want the kills to be really cool. So did yourself and Paul find it difficult to sort of create these ideas and put these ideas together?
No, normally we would start with the idea, like, hey, we should hang somebody, and then work back on who it would be and how we would do it. So we started, it wasn't like we had to fit the kills into the story. The kills were the story, you know. So we always knew he was going to kill a bunch of people. And obviously, you've seen the movie, so I'm not spoiling anything for you when I say that they're connected. So we always knew he had like, you know, 10 people to kill, and there were always going to be some connection between them. So we kind of knew that people were dying. We just had to work out how we were going to do each one, you know, sort of. And then, as you know, there was a bit of a naughty or nice label to do these things, sort of. So and how that list was derived. So yeah, it was real easy for me on that one, sort of, and it was real exciting because it was normally speaking, it would just be me with the axe. If we were lazy filmmakers, we would have just gone, well, you've got an axe, you will just stab people all the time, or you just behead people all the time. So I was glad that Paul took the time to come up with. He goes, what if you like hang this guy with just using like Christmas lights? And then we had to get a very particular, obviously you couldn't actually hang someone with regular Christmas lights, they'd break, so there had to be a kind of a special kind of a exterior Christmas light, you know, that was tough, you know, so that you could hang someone with.
Very convincing, I'll tell you. It was an amazing
the guy,
effect.
I'll tell you that, you know, the guy Ray, who played the guy who got hanged, I mean, he was just a trooper, because he's just really getting, you know, they rig it up and everything, but he's really getting dragged across the floor, you know, sort of, and stuff like that. Sort of, in the end, the director did it to show that he kind of did it for the actor. Sort of, he goes, look, you know, I think you can probably just do this for almost real. We'll try and help you a little bit by putting something under your back to help you move. Yeah. To be honest, I think he can just drag you across the floor. I think it will look cool, you know. And then Paul did it. Like, he got on the floor and I dragged Paul, the director, across the floor, and the actor was like, yeah, he goes, hey, yeah, you know, it looks great.
It looks like, I mean, I'm a visual effects artist, so every time I watch a film now, I'm like, how did they do that? And and I couldn't fault it. I could not fault it. I was looking at every single kill. They looked phenomenal, absolutely convincing. So I want to talk to you a bit about the script, because the story is a great story. How long did it take you to come up with the ideas, and how did you plan the script?
Well, so this is the first thing to say about Nights Before Christmas is it's a sequel to a movie called Once Upon a Time at Christmas. So I had another movie with Paul based on the same two characters a couple of years ago, and then we made for Lionsgate in America. So which we didn't really release in the UK, and I don't know why. Not up to me, you know. So I'm British, but it was an American movie. Remember that this is essentially an American movie, but as I'm sure you can tell, I'm British. So
absolutely.
As is the
one of the boys.
One of the boys. So it's it was very odd for me to have a movie that we did. I've done a lot of movies and they're British. So when I did this movie Lionsgate picked it up for the United States, it was very strange that they didn't release it really in the UK. They've released it now. It's on Hulu and stuff now, but at the time they hadn't released it. But anyway, they liked it enough to go, hey, you should make another one, you know, sort of. In fact, I don't think I'm spoiling anything if I tell you that there is another one after this.
That was a question I was going to ask you. We need a sequel. We definitely need a sequel, which is it's just a great film.
Mate, you're gonna love the idea for the sequel. I don't know if
we need to talk privately about that.
We'll talk privately about the idea.
We'll talk privately about
I
that.
have to say, it's the sequel idea is epic here, just epic.
I mean,
I love it.
The production value, is it looks insane. It's so beautiful to look at the film. I think that's quite important. The tone, the color tones of the film, the way it looks, especially for a festive film, even though it's a horror, it's still a Christmas film.
When making that type of movie, you want it. I mean, I was always telling the production designer Doug and stuff like that. Christmas trees everywhere, lights everywhere. And the director of photography, Adrian Langley, just he's a very skilled photography director in his own right, and he just knew how to compose a movie, sort of in terms of how it should look. And he's responsible for all that great stuff. I hate slasher movies that look cheap. You know what I mean? Sort of like, honestly, I don't know why, guys, you spend all that effort, such fantastic effort, making a good movie with good characters, and then film it badly. It looks like they film it on an iPhone. Do you know what I mean? And you're just like, guys.
That was a mistake we made with Twinkle.
Oh, is it? Okay.
No, we didn't film it on an iPhone, but we filmed it on an off-the-shelf camera. We just wanted to give it a go. It was.
Look, there's a thing. I know, I get it. You see, there's people who go, it's a low budget, that sort of thing. The problem is later on, is when you sit back and you watch it, you can feel that, sort of. It's and what it does is it makes the audience, I think, sort of be less engaged. Bad lighting or bad sound, sort of is always a.
Well, we learned. We did learn when we did Twinkle. So the movie we got in development now, obviously, is filmed on higher end equipment. So I did sort of. It was a bit of a gamble, and it was a test run. It was baptism by fire.
Hey, mate, that's the actual only way you learn anything. The only way I've ever learned anything doing what I've done is screwing stuff up.
Yeah.
The minute you screw stuff up, you know how to not do it the next time like that.
I mean, Ryan Connolly, I don't know if you know Ryan Connolly over at Film Riot.
Yes.
Yeah, so he's coming on the show in the next few weeks. And his sort of philosophy is your first film will always be bad. You will always see your first film bad. Do you agree with that?
I do, yeah, and I don't think it's a bad thing. Like it's sort of like people go, "Man, that's horrific," and you're like, I know, but it's part of the process, Sort of nobody hits it right first time. It's like, and there's this idea that you can, which is really alarming, because you're like, whenever you're learning to play the guitar, whenever you're learning to, when you're a baby and you learn to talk, walk, sort of. You mess up a ton of times.
Oh yeah.
There is no Olympic athletes born. Do you know what I mean? It's like, what are you talking about? We practice and we get better at it.
Yeah.
So, and it's the same with any creative. When you're painting, when you're writing, when you're any creative endeavor, you're like, the first thing you do will suck. Sort of, and it won't suck maybe right at the time. When you're making it right at the time, it'll seem like a really good idea. And then later on, you get a bit of perspective and hindsight, and you go, no, what I'll do next time, and that's how you grow, sort of. So I don't like this Hollywood idea that sort of you can just, it's just magic. You just got it. You've got this X factor. You can hit it first time. You can't hit it first time. You have to work everything that's worth having. You have to work at.
Absolutely, I totally agree with that. I mean, you've been in so many films. Your career spanned over years. I actually own most of your films. I've got
oh no.
I've got loads of your movies on my shelf. So
I've got to see that they're all here back behind me somewhere.
Bonded by Blood, absolutely fantastic movie.
Yeah.
How did it all begin for you? I mean, I don't want to obviously go into too much detail, but when did you think to yourself, do you know what? I really want to be an actor. I really want to make movies.
Well, I went to. I mean, my mother is an actress, so and she's now a writer, sort of a theatre director. So I had that a long time, and my stepfather is a musician in a band. So I had a bit of an artistic push sort of from a young age. And yeah, I mean, mate, to be honest, I did a regular job. I worked for the BBC for a bit, for like 5 years. And then I just was like, you know, I can't do it. Like, I was there for like 5 years because it was a good, you know, my parents wanted me to have, my biological dad wanted me to have a regular job, a normal job, a safe job. And I had it sort of with BBC. It was the nearest I could get to being a sort of, you know, a creative person working for a company, you know, sort of was the nearest big thing. But in the end, I just couldn't do it. I was like, I got to go out and do it myself. I'm not doing enough, you know, sort of, I've got more, you know, and then I just can't do an office 9 to 5. So I've no choice. Hello. I mean, I'd be in trouble if I had to do this.
Oh, that's amazing. Going back to The Night Before Christmas, I do recommend everyone just go and see it. It's an absolute cracking Christmas film. It's not for the faint-hearted. And it's definitely not for kids. But going back to the character, I mean, it seems that in some points of the movie, I actually agreed with what he was doing.
Ah, good. Because I wanted...
I was like, well, I don't blame him for doing that. But I do think he's a bit naughty for doing it. Because he's a git. He's a git. Yeah. He's a git. How did you come up with the idea for that? I mean, did you want that to be...
Well, I wanted it to be... You know that here's a problem with like the James Bond movies, right? There's some guy who wants to take over the world and they never really tell you why, you know, or you go, you know, like he was bullied at school and I go, so therefore he wanted to take over the world. And you're like, that doesn't feel realistic to me, you know. So if he was bullied at school, I'd understand that he made a list of all the people that bullied him and he went around and found them and killed them. That I'd understand that, you know, and he'd make them suffer first. So I was like, for this guy, I was like, let's give him a real goal. His real goal is, I won't say it because I spoiled a movie when I say it a little bit, but you've seen the movie, so you know what his real goal is. I was like, and everything he does must be about that, you know, sort of, and it's over the top because he's done something. But what we did is we added the flashback stuff, so you can see that they're mistreated at the mental asylum that they're in, you know. So we have this sort of thing of like, so then they decide, as like, that's fine. It's like, you can mistreat us, and if we get out here, we're gonna burn it to the ground, you know, at you and everybody that's involved in it. You know,
and obviously the backstory with Nicholas's mother. Obviously, he had, you know, a bit of a bad upbringing, and you know, remember the scene, you know, when the lady, I can't remember her name, the psychiatric nurse was talking to you.
Dr. Mudge, yes,
and she was talking to you. She mentioned, she called you by your birth name, Nicholas, and you absolutely threw a hissy fit. I thought that was phenomenal.
She did. I didn't tell her I was going to do that as well on the day, so that the reaction that you get from the doctor is kind of in rehearsals. I'd rehearsed it differently, so but on the day I thought, I'm just going to lose my shit at her here.
Well, that's what I was going to come to you about improv. Did you have a lot of improv in that movie? Was it necessary once? Because when I write a script and then we're on set, improv's quite important. Because it adds to the scene. It sort of molds it and shapes it. Did you find the sort of same thing that happened with you?
Yeah, I mean, if you ask director Paul Tanter, I probably never stuck to what we were supposed to do. But what's good about being a monster, right, is being unpredictable. So the story is unpredictable. But if you, I don't know, there's some lines that, you know, like where he's going to kill people, you know, sort of, or something like that. You know, you laugh inappropriately, you know, at places you shouldn't laugh at it. Or then sometimes you get dead serious, you know, sort of. And if the actor that's working opposite you doesn't know when you're going to do what, they have this sort of thing of like, they actually know what you're going to do, you know, sort of. So if they think, and they go, all of a sudden he's going to hit me, you know, sort of, they have that sort of nervous energy the whole time going, you know, relax, you know, sort of. And it makes a good... It makes a good thing, and what you do is just change it up every take. And the director Paul will choose the best version of it he likes, you know, sort of. But then the actor is really sort of things. There's a bit of a Joe Pesci thing there, you know. Have you seen Goodfellas? Obviously.
Oh, absolutely.
You know the why I amuse you? I'm a clown. You know.
Yes.
And you're like, you literally don't know what that guy's gonna do. You know. So you're like,
I felt that with your character. I just didn't know what is, especially one of the scenes. I'm not going to go into it because I just don't want to spoil it for anyone because it's so good. with the tree, I think you know what I'm talking about. The convoy and the tree.
Oh yes, yeah.
I was like, what is he going to do? You know, there's so many cars on this road. You know, what's he going to do? And, you know, I was thinking, oh, my God, let this be good. Let this be good. And when it happened, I was like, this is fantastic. This is really cool.
That was actually our first day filming.
Was it?
Yeah.
How long did that scene take? That must have taken a long
Oh, no, it took a day to film it. A big, long day. But I mean, there was like, you know, we have like 100 people, you know. So
yeah. Where did you film? Because the cinematography and the look of the film was beautiful. Where was it filmed?
It's all filmed up in Canada,
right?
So just in a place called Merrickville in Canada, just outside Toronto, between Toronto and Ottawa. So it's you know, when we're making Christmas movies, you know, you want snow a lot in different places, you know, sort of. So there's you know, if you want snow.
Well, we're in the middle of we've got a film in development at the moment. We're in the middle of writing a film called Elf, and we've been sort of you know, looking at different places, and we feel that the only place we can actually film that movie is in Lapland, you know, Finland, places like that.
Yeah.
Was it because you live out in Canada? Is that right? Or you sort of commute?
I live out in Canada. Yeah.
Did you find it difficult for the location scouting, or was it just like, oh my God, look where we are? I mean, this is perfect. How difficult was that?
I mean, I didn't get involved a lot in that. Sort of. So they Doug, who's the production designer and found all our locations. He was in charge of all that, and he got us some great places, including that, you know, where the convoy. Where the ambush scene is with the convoy of cars. I mean, and the tree and everything. You know, we had to find a road where they'd let us cut down a tree and, you know, do all that stuff, which we did obviously live in camera.
That's always risky.
Say again?
That's always risky, especially with a tree, because you don't know which way it's going to go.
Well, we had a tree expert guy who wasn't an expert at all, you know, sort of. But anyway, he said he was. And we had, you know, sort of all that stuff. But we needed a narrow road, right? Because it needed to be. The idea would be that they shouldn't be able to turn around.
Yeah.
You know, sort of, because if they could turn around, it wouldn't really work. So we had to have this convoy on a sort of quiet road where, you know, he has them trapped and stuff like that. And I think it worked. It was the first scene that we set about filming. And when we finished filming it, we took a day off. We took a week off. Because it was a very big build up to that one day, because a lot of stuff was happening, and then we filmed the interior of the ambulance a bit later with Mrs. Claus, you know, so she wasn't all there on that day, sort of. So we did it in two little bits, but yeah, it was a good day. And once we finished that, Adrian edited it together for us, and we were like, yeah, this is gonna work. This is great.
It's fantastic. Let's talk a little bit about Mrs. Claus. I can't pronounce her name. Is it Sash?
No, Sailor de Good.
That's it. That's why I can't pronounce it.
Well, it's a weird name. You have to get used to it.
Yeah, Sailor de Good. She was fantastic in the movie. She was great. So was it difficult for you guys to find someone to sort of play alongside you?
Yeah.
But be creepy, because she is creepy in this film.
She's very creepy, like, and she's creepy in a different way to me, which is good. Do you know what I mean? So she has a different Harley Quinn type energy.
Yes, that's the first thing. When I first saw the trailer for the movie, I just Harley Quinn just popped into my head. Was it difficult in casting that role, or you know?
Yeah.
Did you go through a lot of people, or? I mean,
well, what it was, I'll tell you what it was. It was difficult. I was very keen on being there. I didn't get involved in a lot of the casting, but I did get involved in casting for my Mrs. Claus because I knew that we'd be on screen together. Right. And whenever people came in, it was a yes or a no within 5 seconds, because it was, to be honest, wasn't sure what we were looking for really. But I knew I'd see it when I came in. So sometimes people are over the top crazy and it doesn't really seem to suit them, you know, or sometimes they take it a bit too seriously. And I know that sounds, you know, sort of, I was like, well, you know, Santa always take like my character. I take it very seriously, but I laugh a lot in the movie. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So like, you have to be able to. It's serious, but you know. And then Sailor walked in. 6 foot, tall Sailor walked in, and made it very easy. She was crazy to be honest. And to be honest, I didn't really like. She's taller than me, so they were like, she shouldn't be really. Mrs. Claus shouldn't be taller than you. And I was like, she shouldn't be, but she's very good. So
it's a mismatch, and that's what I quite liked because she wasn't suited to him. She wasn't suited to him. So it was like this partnership. You can tell they don't love each other. You can tell they're just both as nutty as each other. So that's where they fit. So the height difference didn't make no difference because it was to me a non-match made in heaven.
Yes, I think that's what it doesn't look. And that was one of the things I said. Just exactly what you said there was that people go, it doesn't look quite right. And I was like, well, these are two these are psychopaths killing me. I mean, they shouldn't look right anyway. They should look like, something's not right here. And you're like, well, good. It's disconcerting. That's kind of what we want.
Absolutely. So it's available now on Amazon Prime. Is it available on other platforms as well?
Do you know what? It's available on iTunes. It's available on DVD, obviously, if you're in England. And
I didn't know that. I can't believe I've not bought it yet. I did not know it was available.
Definitely on DVD because somebody sent me a copy of the DVD, so I know it's on DVD. So they keep sending me these things, sort of, so because I'm not there, so I have to. Actually, I got sent somebody sent me something very cool.
I was going to ask you about this. Is it the pop vinyl?
Look at these.
They're awesome. So are they going to be available to buy?
I don't think so. No, I think these are one-offs. So they just send them as a bit of promo tools. So I don't think they're available to buy, but
they should be because they're very cool.
They should be, right?
They should absolutely be. So let's get on it, guys. In the comments, we need these pop vinyls in circulation ASAP. The Night Before Christmas, an absolutely fantastic movie. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I can't wait for the sequel, and I want to work on it with you.
I want to chat about that offline.
We will chat about that. And before you go, I don't want to leave you. Want you to go into. We have to talk just a little bit about.
Of course,
the white collar hooligan movies. They are fantastic films. I love them. Me and my missus, we've watched them together. We absolutely. Your performance once again is off the chain. Once again, you're directing with Paul Dante's directing.
That's right, Paul Dante.
What's it like working with Nick? Because I'm a massive fan of Nick.
Nick's great. Yeah. I mean, he's got such that's another this is actually a perfect thing to talk about because it's the same. We're using the same trick here, right?
Yeah.
We take something very serious and we've made it a little funny.
Yes.
Sort of. So, and that's the exact same trick as the Christmas movie, as White Collar Hooligan. And Nick is a born comedy actor. He's great.
He is. Yeah. I mean, I've seen him in this and these films. If you've not seen these films, guys, White Collar Hooligan. He's frightening. He can play a frightening role and then you watch him in Mrs. Brown Boys the movie. And he's absolutely hilarious.
Serious.
You'll sell your stall, you stupid bitch. Anything else?
Yeah, no, he's all. With the day I met Nick, which I met Nick, funny because we were just talking about it earlier. I met Nick on the movie that Robert England was in.
What's that called?
It's called Strippers versus Werewolves.
Right. So my friend Paul. Is a massive. That's my assistant director on the film we're working on at the moment. He's a massive fan of Robert, so we're gonna have to try and get Robert on the show at some point. So I might have to.
Yeah. Oh, he's great. Yeah. And I met Nick.
A favor.
And I met Nick on that movie. So and then we did White Collar Hooligan, and that was it. Like we did White Collar Hooligan 1, 2, 3.
Are we gonna get any more?
No. Well, we've kind of played it out. I think. So.
Keep playing it out. It's great. It's great entertainment. It really, really is.
Yeah, I think, and we finished that story. So it's I wouldn't. You mustn't be greedy.
When it comes to things I like, I'm always greedy. If it's good, people are going to want more, and I think that's what you're going to find with the Night Before Christmas, I think you're going to get people wanting
Fingers crossed.
more. I know, I'm a massive horror fan. I've been a horror fan all my life, and you could just feel it. Even the poster for the film is absolutely exceptional. It really is.
Yeah, they've done a good job on that one. Yeah,
definitely. So, Simon, thank you so much for speaking to us today. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you.
No problem.
Congratulations on the film. Sorry?
Anytime. I look forward. I'll have to chat to you more about it offline.
Definitely. Absolutely. But guys, like I just said, if you've not seen the movie, catch it on Amazon Prime. As Simon said, it's also available on DVD. I will try and post links in the description below where you can pick it up, whether it's for sale on Amazon.
It's definitely on Amazon. Yeah.
If it's on Amazon, then I'll post links to where you can pick up the hard copy. That's the first thing I'm going to do once I hang up with Simon is pop over and buy myself a copy. Look forward to speaking to you more, Simon, in the future.
Brilliant.
And congratulations. Really, really is cool. Nice one, Simon.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, buddy.
Bye.
Bye.
Say it! Say it! What's my name?
Santa's that you?